Hello, Virgo. Hi, darling. I hope you are having a beautiful start to your 2019. I hope that you have just had the most incredible restorative and restful holiday season. And I really hope that you encountered a lot of love and just good, positive vibes in your surroundings. I'm not going to lie, this is actually the second time that I've tried to film this reading. I tried to film a little bit earlier this morning, but I just could not actually connect to your energy. Sorry. Let me introduce myself because I just realized that I haven't done that. So I'm Taryn, and this is my new channel, The Luminary Tarot. Thank you so much for watching. I really wanted to make this reading as real and as authentic as I could, so I decided not to film and not to use the video that I had started with this morning, but rather to just sit down this evening and really connect to what is happening with you, to connect to your energy, and let's see how it goes this time around. So I'm just going to start by shuffling. We're going to do just a general reading for the new year, for what is coming in for 2019, what is being left behind for 2018. And Virgo, again, when I was trying to do your reading this morning, it was like this kind of disconnection from the intuition, or like this kind of resistance to intuition, but it's like the intuition wants to come through so strongly to be able to help you to grow and expand into this year. But it's going to take a lot of feeling. It's going to take a lot of moving into your heart space and really allowing yourself to maybe operate in a completely different way than you're used to. I know you're used to being, the planner, the solid, practical kind of, how am I going to make this thing happen for me? But for you to be able to balance and come into union with yourself, you're going to really need to feel from the heart, to start to put yourself and your emotions and your emotional state first, and acknowledge the emotions that you're having when you're having them, and learn how to speak about them, learn how to actually communicate what it is that you need from people, what it is that you want from people, because at the moment it's not really looking like you are telling people exactly what you're going through and what you're experiencing, which is not always to your highest good. Sometimes it's actually to your detriment. So let's try to do this reading again, and see what comes up for you, my loves. I'm going to start this reading off with the first card, which is going to be just a message from your guides, the energy that you want to start to step into in this next cycle, this new year, and what to be conscious of as we move forward. So, material and spiritual prosperity. I'm going to see if any of these cards are similar. This is not the same as the one that I first got. So, really taking time to take stock. This is an interesting card because it's like taking stock of all of the things that you have built, all of the things that you have cultivated in your life thus far, and maybe just taking a step back and looking at what works and what doesn't, what aligns and what maybe feels a little bit old and stagnant, because this is about coming into union with the spiritual and the material. So like bringing physical and intuitive and all of that into balance for you to be able to stand in like a firm and rooted position. And that, this guy has two fountains on either side of him. So that's always about duality, like really trying to find that duality and trying to find that balance between the two, because you can't just operate from logic. You can, but it's going to really hinder your ability to connect with other people, connect with yourself, and also connect to your success, I almost feel, Virgo, because it's like if you are so constantly focused on the logical, rational way of doing things, how do you enjoy it when it actually comes to you? How do you start to feel into it? How do you actually start to appreciate what you have? So it's just something to be conscious of as we move forward. The next card is going to be the energy the energy to leave behind in 2018. the stuff that is just not serving you, the stuff that you actually just need to move completely away from. This is what you need to leave behind in 2018. Accelerated motion. Interesting this, because again, as I was saying, Virgo is a very like planned and measured kind of sign. Like I know you guys are really, really good with boundaries and like making sure that you are doing things to the letter and making like doing things to your list and doing all of that kind of stuff. But I feel as though maybe last year there was a little bit of movement in like very quick and not really well thought out movement that may have happened in some situation or in some relationship that you only started to look at once it was kind of over. So this is something that quickly entered your life and then quickly left as well, and you didn't even know what had happened, and you didn't consider what had happened because you weren't feeling into it. You were thinking about it, yeah, and you didn't think that it was you didn't think it was a bad thing at the time, but it happened so quickly that once you actually took a step back and realized what had transpired and what had happened, that's when you kind of realized, wow, that really wasn't a good idea. I really shouldn't have done that. And that's not for everyone. Oh, jeez. As I say that, it's not for everyone. This is a general reading, so if this doesn't resonate with you, just catch and release. But I know that there are some of you that may have made a decision that like quickly just came in and out, and it actually caused quite a bit of I don't want to say harm, but it definitely shook something up. It shook something up in your environment. So that's what we're leaving behind. We're leaving behind those just like attaching to these quick kind of, oh, like that seems nice, and then you don't fully feel it through or think about the consequences that it might have for those around you, not necessarily you, but for those around you especially. And so just conscious of that. Leave it behind. It's done now. Awesome. So let's think about now how you're going to start to move towards your highest good and what kind of things you can start to bring in and attract for your highest potential. This is the card that I did have before. Yeah. So, and it was actually, it was pretty much in the same position. So, and is pretty much the same message as well. So, choose wisely. And this is just what I was talking about before. Instead of just allowing things to come in and not really fully considering all of the consequences or considering the outcomes or considering anything really, it's really time to take stock, take a step back. Like you see how this person is just sitting here by themselves and looking at all of the paths that are open to them, looking at the direction in which they could go, but really considering it instead of just going. So you have to stop and consider and ground yourself, because you are a grounded sign. You're that beautiful earth energy, which really requires you taking time for yourself, but not just to think and think and think, or be distracted by, things and electronics and, all of the stimulation stuff that you find. Because again, you're thinkers, but thinkers also need to feel. You need to feel. It's important. And this is an emotional card. So you have to choose. You have to know how to put your emotions first as well. Because if you're not moving from a place of emotion and logic, then you'll find yourself thrown off balance quite a bit, and Virgo is not a sign that likes being off balance. So really just considering what it is that you're doing, what it is you're allowing into your life, into your work, into your home, and just taking time to always be with yourself, to be with your thoughts. And I know that you're good at being alone, but how are you spending that time alone? Are you spending it on social media? Are you spending it on the internet, on your, like, watching TV? Or are you taking time to actually still and quiet your mind? Finding some mental clarity and mental headspace. Yeah, that came through quite strongly. And it's interesting too because these cards are numbered 6, 8, and 7. So it tells me that it is like just a time of really moving towards something that's a little bit more of a spiritual lesson for you. You're stepping into a new and more mature spiritual realm, which means that you're going to have to be a bit more conscious about how you are acting in the world. So let's think now about what kind of energies you want to start to move into, and like what are the things that you want to start to focus your energy on as you move forward in this year. So, same cards. Okay, cool. So taking responsibility for yourself, taking responsibility for your actions, and taking responsibility for your life. Because again, if you aren't fully considering how your actions are affecting other people or affecting your environment, then you actually kind of turn this upside down, and you give away your power, and you give away any kind of control that you have. The thing about Virgo is so you are represented by the Virgin, so sometimes a little bit more of a naive and just open to whatever kind of energy, but you really have to know not how to control, but how to take responsibility. It's a big difference. And when you are in that energy of controlling things, that's when it's things are kind of thrown off balance for you. I feel especially when it comes to balancing emotions and logic. So trying to control is thinking. Trying to take responsibility is feeling. And they're very, very different processes. So just being very conscious of that, my love, because as you start to move into this journey and take authority and take power back for yourself, it means you have to take responsibility, because with power comes responsibility. You can't have the power and the control if you aren't being responsible, and if you aren't actually looking at how you are affecting other people. So yeah, again, it's not for everyone, but that is just what is coming through at the moment. A lesson that you're going to need to be conscious of in 2019 that's going to really come through for you, that's the next card. So your lesson for 2019, yes, another 4, foundations and achievements. So these two together is building something solid, building something out of your own power, your own will, but something that is, again, considerate of other people. And like as I was saying, like really being conscious of how your actions are affecting others and what you're building with other people, because that's when you can really start to come into harmony with your environment, when you are conscious of how you are impacting others. And that's when you can start to get the things that you actually want, to build the things that you want, to attract the people, the love, the relationships, whatever it is, into your life and into your world. That's when you're actually looking at a bigger picture instead of looking just at yourself, right? So that's going to be the lesson for the year. Foundation and achievements, building something solid, something stable, and something rooted and grounded. So and I know you can do it. It's gonna be incredible. Which brings me to the next card, which is the future energies that you want to start to attract, and the future opportunities you want to start to draw in. What did I say about your intuition? Actually, I don't remember what I said about your intuition. No. But yes, your intuition. Knowing how to trust yourself, knowing how to listen to that still small voice instead of distracting yourself with all of the. I just see a lot of like things around you when I think of Virgo. I just see a lot of like distraction, but not distraction from others, distraction from yourself. Like you're trying to distract yourself from yourself, and that is not going to be to your highest benefit. At this stage, it's all about coming into balance with yourself. It's a 2 card, number 2. This is the High Priestess in the traditional tarot deck. And this is all about bringing prosperity towards you by being in balance with your head and your heart. Really taking a look at your dark side and your light side. Taking responsibility for all of it. Learning to love all of it. Learning to really trust that small voice inside of you. Trust and know when something doesn't feel right. So it's going to be very important for you to actually take stock. Take stock is really what keeps coming up, keeps coming back. I keep coming back to it. When I think of this, is just knowing how to look at the bigger picture and feel into it. Instead of thinking about it, feel it. Let it just wash over you. Let it start to come in through this eye instead of, like this this crazy like mental spinning circle. Yeah. So, excuse me, sorry, my phone. Let me just turn that off. So, an obstacle or a challenge that you may face as we move through this kind of energy and start to build this really beautiful, like grounded, intuitive, more sensitive side of yourself. And this is something that you can start to move, like this is how you start to move past it. It is going to be an obstacle, it's going to be a challenge, but it is how you also move forward. And that is by allowing yourself to transform, by knowing that maybe it's not the way that it's always been, and it's not the way that you've always known how to do things. There are some things that just need to go. There are some things that just need to die off for you to be able to, to move into that new space. And this, looking at this card, makes me think it's a habit. It's a way that you have seen yourself or other people or something, a pattern that you have had for a really long time that just actually doesn't serve you or anyone that you're around. It's it may be a little bit selfish, actually, and you really need to be honest with yourself about where it is that you're not serving other people because you're thinking about yourself, but you're not taking responsibility for yourself, and that's where selfishness kind of comes in. So really just looking at the things that need to die off and allowing yourself to transform into something even more beautiful, because you are a beautiful and grounded energy. You have so much wisdom to give and so many amazing insights to give too. Every Virgo I know is a super intelligent person. So really just allowing yourself to step more into that power and be compassionate about it instead of needing to be right. Ooh, that's it. That's where it's coming from. The need to be right. That's what actually kind of needs to shift. Because I think this is the question that I have for you. Do you want to be right, or do you want to be in love? Because you can't have both. Like, if you're constantly trying to be right and prove people wrong, it just doesn't work out. And again, that's not for everyone, but that is something very specific for someone that's going to watch this. Do you want to be right, or do you want to be in love? With your life, with your partner, you have to make a choice. Let it go. Let it die. All right, we're already at 18 minutes. I knew this was going to be a long reading because, again, this energy is quite interesting for me to tap into. It's not familiar energy for me. So, I just wanted to sit with it for a little while longer. Then this next card is going to be how to foster more loving and healthy relationships as you move forward. And again, that can also just be a relationship with yourself. A healthy and loving relationship with yourself and the people around you. So again, you're not regarding other people's feelings, and you do understand that, like, you have to be considerate of what, like, everything else around you in your environment. And so how to foster healthier and more loving relationships. Stand your ground. Stand your ground. Grounded energy, grounded, beautiful Virgo, and we have two sevens here in this reading again, so it's a very spiritual card, and knowing how to be in your own power, but also considering what is happening. So this this card is actually the Seven of Wands, and that is also a very a card that's very much about allowing yourself to root down, to be who you are, but also be compassionate, also be gentle, and let go of the conflict. So it doesn't have to be conflicted, and it doesn't have to always be an argument, and it doesn't have to be a fight, and you don't have to be prickly about everything. You don't have to be so defensive. So this is not telling you to be more defensive. This is actually telling you to be way more compassionate and more open to how you are interacting with other people, how you are being toward other people, but coming from a place of power still. Like, you can still be this strong and rooted individual with feelings, with really open-hearted communication and open-hearted open-hearted ways of being around others. And the three cards all the way down the middle, I'm just going to flip my computer screen down. All of these cards are spiritual cards. So, and you go 7 and 8. So, and you've got two sevens over here. So it is just a very spiritual lesson, a really, really beautiful time for you to start to come into a sense of compassion for yourself, compassion for other people, feeling into things, and really allowing yourself to be open. It may feel a little bit uncomfortable, may feel a little bit tricky at first, but I know you can do it because, again, you have the grounding and the stability to really be able to stand firm in your own power. So now it's just about expanding that out and opening yourself up to way more love and way more energy. I know this video has gone way over time. I was supposed to go 15 minutes, but this is for a specific select few, I know, but I'm really glad that it's come through way stronger than it did this morning. And 4 of the cards are the exact same as I got this morning, 4 out of 9, which is quite a lot. Let's see what this last message is. This is the parting message, just something to be conscious of until I speak to you again. My love. 5 of the 9 cards are the same. Passion ignited. So really allowing yourself to feel into that passionate space again, like allowing yourself to reconnect with your heart space is something that I'm really feeling is going to open up for you, like explode for you this year, Virgo, because it's been so much about the head and the rational logical mind, and now it's just time to allow whatever this spark inside of you is flourish and grow, and let it really start to emanate and burn into your surroundings and move through your relationships and move into the way that you deal with people and the way that you are allowing yourself to be seen and to be loved and to be heard. And I think it's a really beautiful thing to end that reading on a 1, because that's a new beginning. It's something completely different. And so the start of this deck, the start of this line starts with death, and then we go to complete new beginning, which is absolutely amazing. I wish you all the best for this really deep, really beautiful journey, and I know that you have the power within you to make it all happen and to make all of your dreams come true for yourself. Wishing you all the best until we speak again. I will be back with another video in 2 weeks. Again, this is a new channel, so please, if it resonated, comment, like, subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, be well. Lots of love. Namaste.